G'day guys. I continued with the battery saga on this GPZ or Z-7000, and I had my calipers out. I've measured all the differences on this compared to this one here, and what I'm starting to think, it's to do with the actual size of the hole. I'll just spin it around a bit. The size of the hole battery mount where the seal is in here. It's something to do with this being just about 0.5 millimeter out of different from the other one. There's a number of ways to tackle this. If you have your battery jamming on the pins, there's little guide pins in here, little black guide pins. If it jams on these, which I suspected it was doing actually, but I wasn't 100% sure. But what I did, and I have improved it, but I'll show you exactly what I did, and it makes for fitting the battery a lot easier too. First of all, get a sharp implement, get down under that seal, lift it out. We don't want the seal there while we're doing what I'm going to do. So there's your seal. And what you need, so I've got these. These are on AliExpress and eBay. They're about $2, but they're the perfect shape to do this. So just little side cutter type things. You could probably use nail cutters, anything with a very sharp cutting blade and that flat edge on the back there. That's the bit you use. So it's like a scraper, like a, what do you want to call it? A spoke shave or a plane, like the back of the blade of a plane. You can pull back on it and make it take a little bit of material off. All you want to do with this, because the way it's made, is you get the back part of the blade. I'm going to do it this way towards the camera so you can probably see. But if you go in here and just in that groove and just pull back like so. I don't know if you can see that. It's taken a couple of microns of plastic off there. See the little shavings? There's a couple of little shavings sticking up. So what you do is you V-groove it all the way around. So you don't need to do it too much. You just sort of stick it in there and pull back. So you're sort of opening that lip up rather than being like so to like that a little bit. But it's only at the top. You're only taking off a very small amount of material. It's not going to hurt the detector or affect its integrity in any way. So just around you go and just V-groove it. I took off the receiver module for the Bluetooth just in case it was having any push down effect there. It wasn't, but I also need to get to this. So you just want to just groove it like so. Just take a couple of little filaments of plastic off. Do it on the side. And try and get in where those clips are. You might have to lean it in this way a little bit to get there. It's pretty hard to get in because it's mounted so close. So we'll just go around a little bit, take off a few thou of an inch, well, not even that, a few 1/100ths of a millimeter, maybe, if we're lucky. So that's basically given it a little bit of a V-groove. So what we do then, what I've done, just to knock it all off, I've got these. These are like little pliers, but they're bent on the end like so. And I just put it in the gap there and just work it round like that, and it gets all that little bits of plastic out. give it a bit of a blow, have a quick look in the light. There's nothing left. Good. We put our seal back in. In goes the seal. So I just got it sitting up like so at the moment. We'll get our battery. The battery will push the seal down. It's just made to do that. Now, I'll hold this up in the air, get the coil flat, and bang, straight in. You see, it's not it's tight. You can probably, I don't know if you can see it or hear it, but it just goes pop as you put a little bit of pressure on it. There you go, straight in. So it's a good, snug, tight fit. It's retained all its water seal because the gasket does all the water sealing with the small face of the battery that goes onto the seal. So that's your waterproofing. And we'll just check it now. Actually, I'll just pop the battery on top loose, just so we're simulating how it was before, where it was all jamming up and nearly breaking the clips off. Now, what I should be able to do, I should be able to just lift the camera up a bit, maybe. If you can see, there we go, something like that. If I just get my fingers on this, now I should just be able to, I'll turn it around the other way. Got the armrest in the way there. So if I just push my fingers on here, click, easy. So there's no pressure anymore. Just by doing that, I thought it might have been locking on the guide pins or the connector. You can undo, see that connector there? You can actually loosen those screws off, and you can actually have a little bit of wobble in this, just in case there was anything amiss on those guide pins. You could loosen this off, and I'll just show you how you do this. You don't want to loosen it completely. You need a little Torx. Can't remember what size it is. Where the size is, it's all come off on the chrome plating. But anyway, T10 I think it is. Anyway, you get that. Maybe just loosen that a quarter of a turn. This is just my opinion to do this. So this now can wobble a little bit, if you can see that. I don't recommend doing that because it might go against manufacturers' guideline specifications or something. It is a battery, it's a lithium battery. It has got deeper screws on the side. If you actually loosen the ones off in here, look, I just loosen them about a quarter of a turn. Not even a quarter of a turn, just like that. And the whole thing wiggles in the housing. So if you had really severe battery issues and it wasn't going in properly or something, you could loosen slightly all those screws. I wouldn't loosen this one here too much, because if this grabbed on those connectors in here and it pulled out, the wires may short, and you don't want to short out a lithium battery. So I'll just put that in there as a disclaimer. Or actually a better disclaimer is, don't do what I just did. Right, there you go. But up to you. So it's not going to hurt, in my opinion. So we get this, and we can just, even though it's all nice and loose, it doesn't make any difference. It's still got that little grippy, yeah, like so. But it's very easy to push past. It's not like it was before, where it was just sitting there and jamming up and making a very high point. So, what you could do is loosen this enough so it's not actually so loose. I'll show you what I'll do. This will actually cause a really good guidance effect. Tighten it, but maybe 1/10 of a turn back. So it can move if it really, really wanted to. If you pushed it, it will have a bit of give. You can do the same on all these, about 1/10 of a turn. This is just something I would do for myself. I'm not saying you should even do this. Where's that screw? Oh, it's up there. There we go. Tighten it, and then a little bit. Okay. Now, this is the trick I used to do to get stuff settled so things would go together when I used to make all sorts of things. So the battery goes in like so. Grab it, give it a twist, pull it straight up. Okay. You pull your battery straight up. And you can do this to any detector. First of all, we want to lock down the bottom plate. So we just go tighten, go diagonal, tighten, above, there, and just go over them all again. Give them a real good pinch down so it can't move, because there is a little bit of sideways movement in this as well. It's about 1/4 of a millimeter, or about 1/64 of an inch. And with this one too, just touch tighten and then tighten it hard. Not too hard that you break the thread. You only have to do it about 1/4 of a turn. It's plastic, so it's really easy to do. So we get this now. Everything we know is lined up perfectly. So yeah, just look at that, just straight in, no problem. So what you do now, you put your clips on, and again, it should just be, try with my little fingers, okay? Little finger, God, I feel like crazy doing this, but anyway, whoops. See if I can do it with little fingers. Oh, easy, piece of nothing. Okay, so your battery's on nice and tight, and that makes sure that everything lines up. If you do what I did just then, and make sure you do up the screws, don't leave it loose, and don't take the screws right out. Just take them off, about a turn, half a turn, leave it loose, and then do what I did, tighten them up so they nip a little bit, and you could, like if you really tried, you could push the plastic sideways or upward, up and down. Put the battery on, wiggle it around, everything will line up beautifully, and then tighten, and as I say, take it off straight. Don't pull it this way or that way, you'll just knock everything out of alignment. And just tighten it up like so, and you'll have no problem with your batteries from then on. So I think it may be just, well, these are injection molded. Maybe it's to do, well, I used to do injection molding and blow molding and all that years ago. God, I've had a lot of jobs, haven't I? But you know, even the die cooling, they water cool the dies in some cases. And on a hot day, it could be 40 degrees Celsius, 105 or whatever Fahrenheit, or it could be, you know, -10, minus something. And the plastic will cool completely differently. It'll either cool fast, and or it'll cool slow. When it comes out the die, and say if it was a really hot day, you know, the outside of the plastic's cool, the middle part is probably still hot, and you could get, if it's placed down, you could get it to move, and you'll get a slight, you know, a slight warpage. There's plenty of stuff out of China, you know, when you pick it up, you go, hey, that's not right. You know, it's just flicked out of an injection mold or whatever, and it's cooled down, and either it's on one side or something else is on top of it, and it'll be out of plumb. And that's why, because you know, it's all get them out, get them out, get them out, faster, faster, you know. So there's probably not a lot of care taken in the cool down process with a lot of stuff. It should be done carefully, placed carefully, and let everything cool down. And temperature, ambient temperature, when you do injection molding, which is in hot melted plastic into a die, and then they just whack it with cold water and usually pop it out for an air blast inside the die. And it falls into a container. Yeah, a little bit of pressure in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Yeah, it's going to cause something to move. So I don't know if it is a big thing with these. Like, even like looking at this. Okay, I'm going to show this because it's an example. Look where that receiver module goes. I don't know if you can actually see, but you can see the I don't know if you can see. Hang on. Oh, there we go. If you have a look at the plastic in the middle, see it's not totally central. It's a little bit off center. So it's just tolerances in production. It's everywhere. You're not going to get everything down to the micro millimeter unless it's specifically designed to be done that way. But there's a big gap there. You look at that, and that's perfectly in the middle. That one there, I can't see any issues with that. But on this socket, it is off center a little bit. I can just see it, and for what reason, I don't know. It's probably just manufacturing tolerances. But you put this on, and wouldn't it be funny if it was hard to get on? No, it goes straight on. Right, and we get our screwdriver. You can also chamfer that plastic with a screwdriver if you hold it on a bit of an angle and just scrape the plastic like so. It's not going to take much off because you're using such wide blades. And you look at the angle, it's only going to go in about 1/4 of a millimeter, or a 64 for 32nd of an inch or something. Not even that. Maybe 64 for 128th of an inch or something. So yeah, just do that up a little bit. Try the battery again. But I do know these have been issues, and it does break them. There's a lot of them out there that have been glued. So yeah, straight on, perfect, and just done. So that's that battery issue. It's not, as far as I can tell, it's not on the guide pins. I did measure it. I calipered it on each one, and they were within, a bee's dick. They were pretty accurate. So yeah, that's nice and tight now. Seal's good. I did remember I did put a bit of silicone spray on that seal. It's all good. Look at that. Nice. All nice, tight. No problem. So quick and easy, relatively. All you need, get yourself. These are the best things to use, by the way. Holding them like so. If you can have a look at these, they've got a brand on them. X Uron. XURON. And what does it say? Something else there. Use safety glasses. It's written on the metal there. So yeah, if you want to do it yourself, get yourself a pair of these things, cheap as. You could probably use any sort of cutter, but for some reason, these ones with that really flat back there, these are hardened. It's got a nice edge. It just, chamfers it nicely. So I thought you'd all like to know that. Anyone who's got a 7 and you're having issues with the batteries not going in, or those clamps just nearly breaking when you push them in, as in the previous video I did. Now, I've got someone keeps saying, go out there with one of these new done up 5000s. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to. But what do you want me to compare it with? I need other detectors in my possession to compare the 5000 with those. And like I said, I've written it down in the comments. I need similar size coils. I can't have a coil this big and one this big and say, oh, look at this one's outperforming that one on small gold. It makes no sense. So, for all those stars to align that I have, say a 7000, which I do have, I have a gold monster. All 6000s have gone back to customers. I think there's more coming, but what coils they come with, I don't know. If they do come with coils, is another story. I've got a spare coil for gold monsters. I've got well, I think I have, unless David's taken and do some measurements. But yeah, I had spare coils for the detectors. I have to have batteries too, because people send the detectors without batteries. So, this is what happens. But yeah, it's if you want your detector fixed, if it needs repair, make sure you send it with, if you can, try and send it with the coil and the detector and the battery, because you need to test all of those things. It's no good if I pull your detector apart and work on it and say, God, this fault that's been described, I can't find it, and it's in the bloody coil, and I haven't got the coil. I've had it before with many times. The audio's crap. Oh, I've got a 5000. The audio's really bad. It's all distorted. It's not loud. It's squeaky. It's horrible. And they send me the detector. No edits. Blur. Right. So um, I get the detector. I hook it up on my battery, and of course it works perfectly. Right. And I say, I can't find any fault. Send it back, and they go, oh, it's still doing it. And I go, have you checked your battery on another detector? No. Well, do you know your battery has an audio amplifier in the battery? Oh, does it? Yeah, right. Okay. So I get the battery, and of course those silly little um, op amps in there, which switch the audio, popped. That's what pops all the time. Uh, They've got little letters on them. I think it's called VJ8 or VJA or something like that written on them in tiny, tiny print. These things are big as half a match head or smaller. And yeah, they're the things that blow up anyway. If you want to know, you can just fix them yourself. Yeah, tedious. Um, but yeah, things like that happen quite often. So it's always good if you do have an issue with your detector, it's work. I don't want to know about it if it, and you don't want to know about it either if the issue's only happening with a coil this big, because how are you going to send that in? It's going to cost a fortune. Try your detector with a small coil, or if it's doing it with a small coil, the fault or whatever, send the small coil with the detector. It just makes life easy, because sometimes I may not have the particular coil for a particular detector. Like if you send me a Eureka Gold Ace or something like that, from the past, I won't have the coil for it. And it's specific coils. They're tuned, and they're completely different to any other coil. And I can't spend a day making a coil just to test a detector. So please, on those sort of things, send your small coil in with the detector. Anyway, that's my rant on that stuff. And yeah, um, on the 7000 batteries, it probably, well, probably not some of the other detectors. It's not that much of an issue because the way they slide in, but you could have an issue. So maybe, you can look at the plastic works on it. And if you want to get rid of those sharp edges and just, you know, chamfer them out a little bit, makes a lot of easier guidance to get in and lock. So, that's what I would do. Actually, I would have had it molded that way, but that's me. um, Yeah, because there is tolerances. Tolerances. You got one bit of plastic goes that way, and the other bit goes that way. Somehow it cooled differently. Well, it don't work or something. But yeah, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it can happen, and obviously it does, because I've had a few of these come in where the batteries. You get a clip. Oh, it's like, my God, you need to be bloody King Kong to push the damn clips down, and you push too hard, and next minute you hear crack, and the plastic breaks. And if you don't, or you can't glue it and fix it, which is really difficult because the material, what these are made of, is very slippery. You got to rough it up, and yeah, if you use super glue or something like that, usually it falls straight off. I've seen people try and glue them. The glue just won't stick. So you got to do it with probably a small plastic rod and do plastic welding, which I have done before. I used to make acid tanks years and years ago out of PVC actually and fiberglass. We used to make acid tanks with plastic welding, which is like a heat gun with a little nozzle. And yeah, anyway, past life, all these jobs very early on. I only worked at these places for about 3 or 6 months, and I'd get another job. I just got bored, and I just like learning. And then I went to electronics, and it was just like never ending. It's completely different. It's every day was different, so it kept me there. So I worked at many electronic places, and yeah. But I would work there for at least 12 months, 2 years, and used to just follow the money. People offer more money to come and work for them, so I did. Why not? Uh, so yeah, I've learnt and done a lot of stuff, and it comes in handy. It comes in handy uh, all the time. I do my own plumbing. Whoops, I nearly said I did my own electrical wiring. I haven't got an electrician's license. Oh, that was just a dream. But yeah, a lot of stuff. You know, God, plumbing. Uh, yeah, whatever. If something breaks, it's easy to fix. It's just not hard. Um, in installation, I had like I said, I said before, I had a fire alarm company. I looked after government contracts. I did fire alarms in big cities and buildings. So wiring and stuff's not hard. It's easy to do. You know, don't have to call out people and pay them uh, for stuff you can do yourself. I can rebuild a car engine if need be. I can work on car computer systems. I can do injectors. I can do it. I just do it all. I don't know why. I just do it all myself. I have not used a hang on. I'll tell you this as a bit of information. The last time I used a tradesperson, not joking, I haven't. I've never engaged a tradesperson to do anything. No, really, I haven't. I'm thinking, look, I had block drains here, and I just went and bought, the spiral metal snake that plumbers use. Bought it on eBay, I think $42, and did my own drains. So, like I say, I just don't engage tradesmen. I'm thinking really hard here if I ever have. No, I haven't. I've never employed a tradesman. Anyway, that's quite funny, isn't it? No, I'm thinking back to even being 20 years old, thinking from there onwards, have I ever had to get someone to do something? No, I haven't. So yeah, I mean, I have things like lawnmower stops working and stuff, and I pull it apart and redo the carbies. Uh, I've done injectors on the Land Rover. Uh, pulled out the lift system on the Land Rover, put it back together. Done automatic transmissions. I just do it all myself. That's quite funny, isn't it? Ah, dear me. Anyway, so now you know about these detectors and how the batteries don't fit. You can, well, if there's an issue there, don't break the clips. You'll find it to be an expensive thing. Anyway, catches.